This is the UELSports Show.
Alright, so welcome back to the UELSports Show. Coming back after a break of a couple of weeks from the show, but we've got a fabulous show to get you back in with. Obviously, guys, as we know, this past Wednesday was no just ordinary Bucks Wednesday at UEL. It was Big Blue Wednesday, a celebration of sport at UEL. So a lot of home fixtures, lots of great results and highlights and everything. So once again, Don McDermott joined by Deck and Sebastian. Great to be on the show, guys. Deck, we'll start with youth, the men's volleyball. They had a big matchup against Exeter.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Blue Wednesday, as you said. I'll tell you what, the best thing about the Big Blue Wednesday was probably, before we get onto volleyball, the attendances. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a lot of people actually watching the games, which was great to see.
I have to say, I didn't see as many people dressed blue as last year.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Should have just thrown some paint around.
Dress blue, but
Should have thrown some paint around, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, okay, we don't have enough blue people around.
Yeah,
but attendance was good, yeah.
Did anyone actually see it? The advert that was out this week? The big...
I didn't see
Guys,
him.
no?
I didn't see him. I do have a sneaking suspicion of who's behind that, but I won't say it because it's a little secret.
Well, I've heard he's...
you're right, the attendance was...
It was good though, yeah.
First that was the only thing I really wanted to point out. But the UEL volleyball, both teams were in action, and the women's, they kicked things off first, I believe, and they won 3-0. It was actually quite a cracking game, actually. Their first set was a bit of a mind blower, though. I believe they won by something bizarre, 25 points to 3.
Actually.
2. I mean, that's...
How can you do that?
I know.
I mean, when it gets to like that, sometimes it's a bit, oh God, this is getting a bit repetitive now. Serve after serve after serve. But nonetheless, their opponents really came back into the game, gave them a bit of a tough second set. But the game was wrapped up, I reckon, within 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And the women's got a solid 3-0 victory and are pushing themselves back up to near the top of the table.
I mean, the second now, but only because I think Bournemouth are first and they played like 7 games already.
Yeah, played a lot more
6
games.
already.
And I believe UEL women's have all played 4. And they've won
all them.
all of them.
Haven't dropped a set yet either, I don't believe.
Yeah,
So.
and a quick note as well, certain players really impressed me. A girl called Alex, and she was just powerful all over the court, left, right and centre. Her serve was sharp, and Beth Gunter, of course, as we know, has been on the show, good friend to the show. She was fabulous as well, but many other players in the whole squad, and I think Simon Loftus has done a really good job this year in kind of, because there's been a bit of disruption in the team. I interviewed Simon yesterday and he mentioned there was a bit of squabbling going on, but the team are really united, and it was such a great performance from all the kind of backlash of what people have been saying and inside the team, and just get a 3-0 victory like that. And albeit the second and third set was quite tough, you know, the opponents did come back. It was a fantastic display by all the girls in the team, but particularly Alex, she was great yesterday, and really impressed by her. And going on to that, just before the men's game yesterday, and I believe they also were in action as well, they won 3-0 against Exeter men's. Quite a comfortable game, I believe it was in the end. But I spoke to Jermaine Mars before the game, and he's unfortunately, as we can report on the show, out till January. He was in physio with the coach Simon Loftus, who apparently Jermaine spoke really great words about Simon's physiotherapy this year, and just said, you know, he was told January is probably the next time you'll be on a court playing, light training maybe end of December, which is of course 3 or 4 weeks away. So a big disappointment there, but they...
blow for the team.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of almost said to him without trying to make himself a bit of a big-headed figure, but you know they're going to be missing that. But he enlightened me that the boys are getting better as the game goes on. They got a really big win against UCL away from home, and he's still looking at promising signs for the team this year. So overall, a fantastic weekend for volleyball, men and women's, and wrapped up a splendid Big Blue Wednesday.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, men's basketball, now we'll turn to them. They were also in action. They got a really fantastic win over London South Bank University, 88-60. When I talked to Coach Jonathan Campbell after the game, he was really complimentary of the team's performance. He said that he thought it was their best performance of the year. And that was coming after last week's huge home win against Southampton Solent that vaulted UEL into sole possession of the Bucks South Premier League. Southampton Solent did beat Brunel yesterday, so UEL are still just the 1 game ahead. And they do have a very tough stretch of games coming up. They'll end the season with 3 away games. So very tough. Coach JP says that they're just taking it one game at a time. They're not really thinking about repeating as South Premier champions, but personally I would say that they should be feeling fairly confident in that.
Yeah, they're on a bit of a roll actually, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Especially after beating Southampton last week. It's
Exactly.
like a kind of revenge game, if you want to call it like this.
Exactly, after losing them earlier. So they beat Southampton last week, and then this past Wednesday they turned in what JP says was their best performance. So they do seem to be rolling quite a bit. I think for the actual game itself, I was very impressed. It was a solid game. I think you have to give a mention to the senior players because this is potentially their last home match for UEL basketball.
So they don't
Hopefully.
have any other home games anymore.
No,
for the rest of the
the
season.
rest of the
quite
season.
disappointing, isn't it?
Quite unfortunate that
Yeah.
the scheduling was made this way.
Exactly. Yeah, it is a
Doesn't make
bit
a lot
bizarre.
of sense.
I know it is a bit bizarre. Yeah, they've got the one game next week that's away to Bath, and then they just have 2 away games in the second term. Then obviously though there are the Bucks Final 8, so they'll have those games as well. But yeah, it's the last home regular season games for guys like Dougie Bennett, the captain, who's been so phenomenal, been with the university for so long, and just seeing them progress up a league, getting into the Premier League, winning it. And it would be really great for them if they could go out as winners of the South Premier, 2 times champions, and possibly get further into the Bucks Final 8s.
Yeah, he's a nice guy as well.
Oh, he's great, yeah. So it was a very good game. Dougie Bennett was absolutely phenomenal, just dropping
Probably
threes.
the key player, was he?
Yeah, he really does set the tone a lot of times. His 3 points are amazing. I'm going to miss watching that with him. His 3-point shots are just absolutely incredible.
Any other players?
Actually, not so much another player, but I would say the bench. I was talking to JP, and he was saying this, that he was really pleased with the performance of the bench, particularly in the second quarter. The first quarter was actually fairly close, but that UEL really pulled away in the second. Ended up leading by 23 or something at halftime. And JP put that up to the really great defensive performance of their bench. He was saying that that's something that they've been kind of looking for throughout the year, and that is to have a second level of guys who come in and get rebounds, chase loose balls, get really physical on defense. And he said that they got that in the game, and that's why he thinks it was their best performance. It wasn't just the big high scores like Lucas Volsky's, Dougie Bennett, Blaine, Freckleton, and those guys. There was the second level of guys who came in and really were good on defense. And I think that is a big part of why they won that game by 28 points. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic win for them.
I mean, it's always good to have a strong rotation off the bench. Without a good whole squad, you won't win many games. Especially
Exactly.
if you have to play against another good team who have good rotation in their team as well. It's all about the depth of the squad.
Yes, indeed. So then turning to netball, Sebastian, you were at the women's netball game. They had a very big match ahead of them that week, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a big match against Hertfordshire. There was they were both on the top of the table, so the UL team could have gone first in the table if they would have won that game. Unfortunately, they did not. It was quite a hard loss for them to take. It ended 43-21. And I mean, it started out close in the first half, but they struggled to score points, really. The defense of Hertfordshire was really good. They struggled to find their main point scorer down low, below the basket, the whole game, actually. All of their passes were either too high or just didn't reach her. So it was kind of close, only like an 8-point difference in the first half, but then in the second half, I don't know what happened to UEL, but the second half they didn't really score and Hertfordshire run away with the lead. Quite a disappointment.
Yeah.
I guess for the
I would say, yeah, I believe that's their first league loss since, I want to say, March 2013, so that would be quite tough for them to take indeed.
Wow. But what's more important, so was that the first game of netball you ever went to?
That's correct.
And how good was it?
I have to say, I'm still not sure about all the rules. I mean, I thought I managed to pick up most of them during the game, but
Good atmosphere down there?
I mean, there were not as many fans as with like the basketball or the volleyball because they couldn't actually put the main stands out because of the baskets.
Yeah.
So they had to put stands on the side, but they were pretty full. But
Good.
yeah,
I saw a few spectators down the side. I thought it was good to see people popping along, and I was speaking to a few people around the canteen, and they said they were they were admiring the game through the glass, actually. So I don't know if you want to count that both sides, but
If I have to be honest, I prefer basketball to netball, really.
okay. I'm sure they'll be massively disappointed with that. But
Terribly
nonetheless, more result in the badminton men and women's, Sebastian.
The badminton first team, they lost at home against University College men's third team. And just to add up to the basketball that we talked about before, the women's team suffered a really heavy defeat at home.
How heavy?
Against Imperial College London.
Wow.
20-101. That's really heavy. But on better news, like the men's third team, they beat Buckinghamshire's second team 89-66.
And that's a good win as well. We've always credited the teams on the show that if they are third or fourth or even fifth teams in some cases, when they beat the second and the third teams of the university, it somewhat says something as well, but it says that the level of UEL is much higher than other unis. So well done to the basketball third team.
Also the football women's first team, they had an impressive come from behind win. In the end they won 6-2 against Hertfordshire's second team.
I heard the England international Lily, am I right saying, Don? You know her quite well. She had a fantastic game, I am told by our various sources around the university. And is there anything else, Sebastian?
And then football men's second and third team played as well. The second team won 2-0 against Canterbury Christchurch second team, and the third team unfortunately lost 1-2 against the Canterbury Christ's fourth team, and we unfortunately don't know the result.
Yeah, we don't.
The first team, unfortunately, they played as well. Yes, I think in Brighton.
Wow,
if I'm correct. So
so big thumbs down for the men's football first team. We need these results earlier, don't we? We're struggling.
I'm not sure if it's really that's their fault or the Bucks website fault.
Yeah,
but it's somebody's fault. It's not ours.
It's not ours, so we can
fault.
just point the finger and blame it someone else, which is always lovely to do. We really do enjoy doing that. But moving on now, we've got fixtures. But Don, you wanted to just quickly jump on before we get into our fixtures about Taekwondo.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I've heard from one of the guys, the vice president of the Taekwondo club. He wanted me to mention the competition that UEL were in.
Come on then, chuck it out.
I think it was last weekend.
Yeah, last weekend. So hosted by Imperial College London in the Ethos building of Imperial College, he says. So it was students from white belts to black belts, so that's the entire range, were competing. And UEL were really very successful. They had one black belt completing blue belt, green, 2 yellow, and 5 whites. And out of those competitors, they got 3 gold medals, 1 silver, and 2 bronze.
Wow!
So very good. So this was Zach, who's the vice president. He described this as almost a sort of a warm-up competition for the nationals in February. Which he says he believes are being held in Worcester. We're not sure of the actual date yet. But he says that they will actually be sending more fighters to the nationals as well. But
we should get Don to go along, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with Don.
Exactly, yes. Having done Taekwondo when I was younger myself.
Oh, well, he's actually done Taekwondo as well. So.
Yeah, black belt.
Zach, we've got a superstar in the making.
Yeah, so anyway, well obviously if that's a warm-up for the Nationals, they should be looking very good for the Nationals because, I mean, that's quite a lot of medals that they got in there. So yeah, well done to them.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's always nice that we look at sports that maybe don't get as much recognition as the main sports that we talk about every week, like basketball and football. So it's nice to hear that the Taekwondo are doing really well as well this year.
And great coverage from Zach there, so fantastic stuff there. And was the Taekwondo news, and of course we go into fixtures, the last part of the show. Before we, do you want to give us a rundown on some of the top fixtures that are coming up, and especially one in particular on the weekend?
Yeah, the American football team finally has their third game this weekend after a game a couple of weeks ago had to be postponed due to the lack of referees. Every day.
You should have just got Don down there. He's got some multi-skills, this man, trust me.
Yeah, so this Sunday, East London UEL Titans will take on the LSPU Spartans on London South Bank. It's on Sunday at 1 o'clock again at East
London Rugby Club.
Yes.
So what are they called? Who are they called?
LSPU Spartans.
And you're called?
Titans.
God, they got a cool name, haven't they?
Yeah.
LSBC's.
LSBU because London South. Man.
Yeah, LSBU.
I'll tell you what. You make sure when you play them that you give them a hard time about the fact that we just beat them in basketball.
Yeah. Trash talk before the
Exactly.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. So you expected to win that? Do you know what they're going to be going on about?
I mean, we hope to win the first ever game. So
I'm sure there'll be loads of coverage on that.
They just lost the last game 2-0. I've never heard of a score that low, but they actually lost
2-0.
Yes.
Yes,
Right,
that would be a safety
Yes.
where the quarterback gets sacked or running back gets sacked in the end zone, and then no score.
I mean, I've never heard of a score to nothing, so-
Absolutely lost here now, guys. And I think everyone would agree that we should move on. So we go into our fixtures. We've got the tennis men's first team in action, UCL versus UEL, big London clash there. But of course, we're all expecting a UEL win there because they've been unstoppable all year. And Seb K, along with his partners, are doing a fantastic job in keeping the flag running high, and I believe they haven't dropped anything this year.
Yeah.
So fantastic stuff from them, and deserve a bit more coverage as well. So we will be talking about them a bit more.
We're going to talk.
Women's netball second team are also in action against UCL 9th team. I mean, how many teams you really want at a university? They've got certainly a lot. So that'll be an interesting match to see the level of their 9th team against our second.
Indeed.
Really interesting. The tennis women's now, they are in action as well against the Imperial College of London, second team, and then we've got the tennis men's second team. UEL are playing
Middlesex.
Middlesex first team, so that'll be a very tight, close game.